Okay, grade 9. So we got this problem here where we're going to need to make some algebraic expressions to help learn something more about a certain situation. It says here, Mary and Bill are setting up a summer concession stand at the park. They have the following employees. Now, just to make sure you know what we mean by summer concession stand, I've got a little image that I want to drag in here for you. I think this is kind of what they mean by a summer concession stand. So maybe you've seen one of these, and you see them at the fair, and sometimes you see them at places, with whatever, lots of tourism and stuff. This is what we mean by a summer concession stand. Now here's what we know about this summer concession stand. First of all, Mary and Bill, they're the owners. Now, what they have the following employees. They got one manager, and you can see the manager gets $10 an hour, plus a weekly salary of $150. So think about what that means. That means that the manager gets an hourly rate for the hours worked, but they also get like a weekly salary of $150. And why would somebody get a salary? Well, usually that comes with some added responsibility that maybe doesn't necessarily fall into the hourly rate. Imagine the manager has to occasionally make phone calls or something after their shift is done. So there's some way to compensate them for that. A weekly salary of $150. So imagine what that means. If the manager doesn't work at all in a week, they still get $150. That's pretty sweet. Now you can see we got 4 servers, and they earn $9.50 per hour, but they get no weekly salary. Why does the manager get paid better than the servers? Well, think about what kind of jobs managers do compared to servers. Managers usually got to do preparation, they got to boss people around, they got lots of added responsibility when it comes to dealing with customer complaints and so on. Where the server, show up, do your job, usually that's about it. So there's a couple of instructions we have to follow through on. Instruction number 1 is this. Determine a simplified algebraic expression. We've seen that now a few times yesterday and now again today. Determine a simplified algebraic expression to represent the weekly payroll for all 5 employees. Now you can see a table's been set up because I think a table is a nice way to organize this information. Certainly not the only way. But we need some information for a manager. We also need information for server. So my question for you is, what's the algebraic expression we could create to represent how a manager gets paid? So they get $10 per hour plus a weekly salary of $150. If you were thinking 10 times H plus 150, you would be right. And that literally means $10 per hour times the number of hours worked. So that's what H represents here. H represents the number of hours worked. And then plus 150, there's the salary. What about the server? They get $9.50 per hour. Of course, $9.50 per hour times H. Hey, how many managers are there again? 1. How many servers are there? 4. Can you see how this expression really says, well, there's one manager times how a manager gets paid. So 1 times 10H plus 150. Now, if you've learned anything about multiplying by 1, you know, hey, that doesn't do anything at all. It's still just 10H plus 150. Server is going to be a little bit different. Because there's 4 of them, what's going to be under this little shade right here? Were you thinking that? I hope you were. So then what's over here? Of course, 34H. Now, are we done this part of the problem yet? I don't think so. It says determine a simplified algebraic expression to represent the weekly payroll. Well, here's what I think we do have so far. I think we do know that, the total weekly payroll, so I'm just going to write that down as P for payroll, is equal to the manager's pay plus the server's pay. And so I do think it's as simple as taking the algebraic expression for the manager's pay plus the algebraic expression for the server's pay. And what we get when we put all that together with some pretty simple algebra skills is we get 44h plus 150. That right there is the simplified algebraic expression for the total weekly payroll that Mary and Bill, remember those are the owners, this is an algebraic expression they can use to quickly calculate the total weekly payroll. So let's get to using this algebraic expression for a practical purpose. So now that we have the simplified expression, it says use your expression to determine the weekly payroll if each employee works 32 hours this week. So it says use your expression. So we're going to use this expression. Actually, I shouldn't even write it down again. Whoops, wrong page. Let me just do this instead. I'm just going to go and copy this. It's not going to work. Alright, you win this time, technology. I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite the expression. So P equals 44H plus 150. But then what do we do? Like, how do we use the expression? Well, remember what H represents in the expression? The number of hours worked. So if the manager and all 4 servers all put in 32 hours this week, then that means we substitute 32 in place of H. And of course, I now go to grab my calculator just like you would have to. 44 times 32 is... Calculator. Let's see. Give me a moment. I just need to quickly find my calculator. I'm feeling immense pressure to do this quickly. 44 times 32 is 1,408 plus 150. We end up with a grand total weekly payroll that Mary and Bill need to pay to their employees. How much is that total? $1,558. Now just quickly reflecting on this problem and like, whoa, that's a lot of money. Well, when you own a place or like a business, yeah, your employees will say cost a lot of money. But let's face it, they're really important to your business. They need to get paid. Now, this must mean that Mary and Bill's summer concession stand, it must make a lot of money during the week. Okay? Because let's face it, they don't need to just make enough money to pay their employees. They need to make enough money to help cover the cost of like the food supplies that they need to like, you know, make the stuff that they sell at their concession stand. Other costs like maybe there's like a rental fee, like a, you know, like, yeah, like a rental fee for where they set up their concession stand. Things like water and hydro cost money too. And don't forget, Mary and Bill are in business. They want to make money. They don't want to just break even. Then they don't get to make any money. So you start looking at some of these numbers and you realize, oh, a summer concession stand brings in a lot of money in a week. And it has to, because it's got a lot of expenses that it needs to pay in a week. All right, well, I hope that video went okay for you, and hopefully that helps with some of your homework, okay? Thanks for listening. Bye!